Good evening, Hired Goons. Here we go, about to start Operation Seafood Buffet. Baccaruta's operation got the most votes, so that's the one I programmed in. We'll go over what we're seeing first, and then we will start the mission. This is the UN no-fly zone over Lhasa. The Chinese also have the same requirement that they cannot cross this boundary near Ningxi, where the UN is offloading supplies and Doctors Without Borders is preparing to evacuate. The TLA bridge is up in the northeast corner. We have Indian Army units that are doing exercises here. We have a S-125M Pokora SAM missile battery. We have Dibrugarh Airport and Chibua Air Force Station. At Chibua, we have some MiG-21s, a flanker, and we can see one training patrol of those MiG-21s going by us right now. We go in a little bit closer, we have our unit. This case, it happens to be our own S-125 Pokora for our SAM coverage with its own radar, and then all of our planes. In this case, we have our Gripens. We have a high cap patrol with DSM and hot pants. Our land strike is Sonic Assassin and Stool Pigeon. We have two Gripens in reserve. And we also have our Saab S-100 that is I Spy. Everything is timed to happen at the same time as the flight's going out. So we're going to get rolling here. So here we are. We're going to start up. And I'm going to speed up time until we got something worth looking at here. You can see the MiG patrol. All right. Right here is I Spy. We have a support point set up, and I Spy gives us a big radar ring. Right now, I Spy is climbing. As you can see, 10,000 feet. I believe the mission was for 25,000. All right, we got our first contacts. The first one is we can see a Chinese SAM, an HQ-7. At the same time, we have a bogey at 36,000 feet, moving at 480 knots. So we will keep an eye on that. It's moving towards the no-fly zone. We are not quite towards the time yet. We got about 15 minutes until our cargo planes take off. All right. We've gotten visual on it. It is a J8IE Finback A. Again, it's holding well away from the line. The Indian Air Force unit is following path. We got 5 minutes till launch. All right, our planes are going to be taken off. This is our high cap units. So we should see taxiing to takeoff and taking off. Like I said before, there's not a lot of facilities at this airbase, so we can only launch so many units at a time. So here we go. All right, our first flight. Again, DSM and hot pants. Currently at 15,000 feet, 480 knots, and they are going to make for the Ningxi airport at the same time, where once they get there, then they will start heading down towards Dibrugarh. In about 1 minute, we are going to see the our cargo planes leave. Speed it up for a second. Okay, we got a message. The UN relief planes have departed Dibrugarh. We will see them pop up in a moment here. We still have our Chinese contact hanging tight. Speed up for a minute. Okay. We have a flight called Hornet number 1 and Hornet number 2. That is our C-130J Hercules, operated by the Indian Air Force. And they are on their way to Ningxi. Okay, we just got an update. It says encrypted radio chatter has increased 3-fold. We don't know what they're saying, but they're saying a lot of it. It looks like that finback is heading back towards Lhasa Airport. We have Flight Savage. That is 2 of our Grippins. Sonic Assassin, Stool Pigeon with the laser-guided bombs. And they are going to get into strike position near the bridge. The moment they do the strike, depending on what they see, I will swap them over to take part with High Cap mission. So, all right, we're going to speed it up a little bit here. Cargo planes are moving up nicely. They are sitting about 6,000 feet. I don't know how high they're going to be able to get. Probably just enough to cover the mountains, and then they're going to have to come right back down. It really is quite a steep plane. It goes from almost sea level. Ningxi is at 11,000 feet. I think the highest elevation, we got about 13,000, 14,000 in between there, depending on the peak. All right, we're going to take it up a little more. We're still getting a good read on these J-8s from our Saab. We still have the flight of MiG-21s from the Indian Air Force. Everything else is pretty quiet, so we're going to take it up again for a second. All right, new contacts. Bogey 31, 540 knots. They are cruising. Let's see what I Spy is getting here. That's our SAM battalion. We should get a resolution on them in a minute. Okay, everybody's still moving along nicely. We're going to take it up a bit. As long as they don't cross that line, nothing bad's going to happen. Cargo planes are still moving in. Strike mission's going ahead. Okay, I'm going to take it down to 1 second time frame here. Okay. It's going to get tight. We got the 2 bogeys coming in. Still don't have an idea on what they are. 520 knots, 36,000 feet. They appear to be making a beeline direct for either our Grippins or for Hornet flight with the Hercules. Saab should get a pickup on them any second now. I don't know why we're not getting a good resolution. Well, we just had a radar picked up, a Chinese JY-14 Great Wall. I did set a no-fly line here. Anything that crosses this line is going to be called hostile. Boy, I wonder if we got some real high peaks in between us and them, and they're able to kind of dodge in and out. Every so often we're losing them, even up at 36,000 feet. All right, Flight Savage 48, 25,000 feet, 480 knots. They are still about a minute out from the initial point. Our Grippins are still on path. They are going to stay on this path unless something breaks this tripwire we have here. Okay, we have... we've got our flights have departed. The C-17 Globemaster 3s have departed Ningxi. They left just ahead of when the C-130s were taken off so that they had room at the runway. This is really a nasty mess at Ningxi right now. We got tons of civilians. We've got aid all over the place, refugees. I mean, it's just an absolute mess as people are trying to flee Lhasa in the area here, and the TLA is trying to work their way across. They're taking advantage of the southern part of this no-fly zone. Okay, we are still... Our flight is vectored away, but the moment they break that line, if they break that line, well, I will flop back and forth, try to give us an idea. We have Flight Savage is now... we'll see if I can get a range here. We are now, what is that, 35 nautical miles, so this is going to go quick. We're still holding 25,000 feet. We still don't have an ID on our bogeys. Our Grippins are still headed back towards Dibrugarh. I don't know if they are going to, they're rapidly approaching that point. Okay. Come on, everybody. Okay, we're losing them again every so often. Saab is holding tight. I Spy has enough fuel for 6 hours and 42 minutes. And holding at 30,000 feet. All right. I don't want to speed it up too much. Those 5-second steps will go real quick. I'm still getting drunk texts from our man in Washington. Last I saw, he is on his way down to Atlanta. I know this because he drunk texted me a copy of the receipt for the flight that he chartered. So it's going to get expensive. All I know is he's with a bunch of defense executives from a few different countries. So hopefully something good pans out of all this. I mean, I don't know how the world of lobbying works, but I trust that our man in Washington knows what he's doing. All right, they have vectored off a little bit. Still 520 knots. We still don't know what they are. Losing them every so often. They are about, it looks like the Chinese are about to cross the line. Doctors Without Borders just launched their second Globemaster. Okay. They have now crossed. All right, they've gone hostile. All right, there we go. Gripens are going into action. They are now 580, 650, 700 knots. We have now broke the sound barrier. They are on an intercept 36,000 feet. Oh boy, those things are hauling Mach and a half and still accelerating 900 knots. The Chinese are at 520 knots. We don't know what they are. Oh boy, it's going to be close if they get to the C-130s or if the Gripens get to them. The red ring is our weapons range. The irises don't have quite the range that the meteors have. But boy, these guys are just hauling. I'm going to try to bounce back and forth. We got a lot going on. About the same time these guys engage, we are going to see Savage Flight. What's going to happen is they are going to launch one weapon. They will observe. They will turn around. And if they need to launch another one, they will do that until the target's destroyed. If we get a target of opportunity, depending on what these two are, I might divert, or I might try to take the target of opportunity. All right, Hornet number 1 and number 2 is sitting at about 21,000 feet. We have both bogies. It looks like one is vectoring for Hornet flight. The other bogey is heading for Roadrunner. Both of our Gripens, it looks like we have one Gripen on each one. I believe at the current stance, they will each launch one weapon. All right, Savage Flight is coming in. They are getting close to the launch point. Oh boy, I don't mean to be bouncing back and forth so much, but I don't want to have you guys miss anything here. I think our first operation is holding in the balance. All right, the Chinese have definitely changed vector. One of the bogies is headed directly for the Gripens. The other one is on a vector for what I would guess is the C-130s. We're traveling almost twice as fast as they are. All right, we're going to pop back over to Savage Flight here. Make sure we got nothing else around. I didn't see any contact notices. We still got the SAMs way off in the distance. The Indians are not doing anything, and I don't believe they will unless Indian assets are attacked. All right, both the bogies have vectored in on both the Gripens. Oh boy, this is going to be close. All right, we're almost to the initial point. All right, at least the UN convoy will probably make it to Nyingchi, and Doctors Without Borders has made it across the Indian border. I don't know if the Chinese are going to vector across the Indian border, but at this point they've already broke the UN no-fly zone, so anything's game. All right, Savage Flight still holding at 25,000 feet. Imagine at this time they are getting ready to start to observe the area. We're going to zoom back out here. Boy, we're almost in weapon range. Chinese are still 520 knots. We're at 920. Savage Flight is almost to launch point. We are going to have a launch any moment now. Probably about the same time. I think Savage Flight is going to be launching. Yep, it looks like... okay, let's see. You can see the orange ring. This is going to be the range of our bombs here. 25,000 feet. And we have ordnance away. We have the pave way this way. At the same time, we have got missiles. And we just got a contact. So we've got an Iris heading towards one. We have a second missile being launched. Iris going towards the other. I'm going to pause this for a sec so we can get a look. We have a second asset, a supply dump. Per your guys' instruction, we are adding an attack order to the supply dump. I'm only seeing these two right now. If we get more, we won't drop any more ordnance and we'll swing them back. Okay, we got one missile. Iris heading in at 1,570 knots. What are they? They are Chinese J8IA Finbacks. The same thing we saw before. First missile. All right, we got one bogey down. Oh, we hit the bridge. It looks like it took one single bomb and we knocked out the bridge. Second missile is vectoring in. We have got both the Gripens turning away. Let's see what this Iris can do. This thing is just hauling. This Finback's really outclassed. Okay, he's up to 700 knots. He is diving, diving, diving. All right, the second Finback is down. All right, that is all contacts that we can see from in the air. We have both of our Gripens are heading back down towards the other launch point. Stool Pigeon has fired off all of his bombs and is dropping the supply dump. We have one paveway that is falling fast. 530 knots, altitude 18,000 feet and dropping. Looks like sea level here is about, or altitude here is 9,500 feet. This bomb is dropping quick, quick, quick. I don't believe we took any fire from the ground. So the moment this bomb hits, I am going to swap Savage Flight over to high cap. They hit the supply dump. 77% penetration achieved. Let's see. They got a good look at it. It's not completely done. They dropped one more paveway. Sonic Assassin, you dropped both of your paveways. It looks like you are not kidding around. Two at once. And this thing's almost done, so this TLA position will be taken care of. All right, I am going to change Savage Flight over to high cap right now in the mission editor. Savage Flight is looking good. And Savage Flight has now been assigned. They are going to go. All right, there we go. We destroyed the supply dump. Let's see. Roadrunner, the Globemasters are on their way back. Hornet Flight is about to land. They are slowly losing altitude, but they don't have much to lose to get where they're going. DSM and Hot Pants are making their way back towards Dibrugar. And we have a Savage Flight is gaining altitude after the strike mission and heading back. We have clear skies for the moment. Let's see. We still have the Indian MiGs. I did some research here. This is a training unit for the Indian Air Force. Last our intel shows the majority of the Indian Air Force's units is still sitting by the Kashmir, Pakistan area, holding tight. So I'm not real surprised. I mean, even with the pair of flankers that they have there, they really don't have a lot of air assets. They do have an interesting little pocket for their ground units, though. They last our plane saw, we've got some infantry platoons. We've got some gimlets. We got some 40 millimeter Bofors T90s. I did not know the Indians had T90s, and you know what? I don't think this is an attack unit, because what are you going to do with a T90 up in that stuff? Okay, I'm going to speed up time a little bit here. Everything's looking pretty quiet. Looks like the Hornets are about... Hornet number 1's going into land. Hornet number 2 is on approach. All right, we got one Hornet down. Oh, we got new contacts. What do we got? What do we got? All right, we have new bogeys coming in. 480 knots, gaining altitude out of Lhasa. Okay. I am not going to have anybody vector over there yet. We have our tripwire. If they cross that line, we have plenty of units. It looks like Savage Flight is changing the vector a little bit. They might be going on an intercept. You can see our radar range, so they probably know we're here. They know we're there. The Saab is really giving us some range with the radar. I Spy is just, I mean, you look at that. I mean, we're covering just a huge swath of territory. All the way down to, what is that? The Assam Bay? Or is that further down? I mean, we got Burma or Myanmar. Oh, yeah, Andaman Sea. Not quite that far. But the Bay of Bengal, Bangladesh, all of Bhutan. So, I mean, that's great coverage for the area. All right, the Globemasters are starting to, still gaining some altitude. They'll be coming down in a minute. 371 knots. All right, I'm going to pick this up. This should be another border patrol. I imagine the Chinese are going to be making a statement. Well, at least I hope so. All right, we got two more finbacks. Let's see, where are they going? What are they doing? All right, we're going to slow down. They're up to 920 knots. These boys are hauling it. Mach 1.6. Again, we have a tripwire here. Savage Flight is still on course. I don't know where they're vectored to right now, but they're assigned to high cap and they are not returned to base. So still have plenty of fuel. We have an hour and 46 minutes. Let's see what they got. And we're still got DSM and Hot Pants as well coming back on the approach. If these things come across, they're really in for some grief. We have Roadrunner is making his approach. I believe we already have the first Globemaster in Dibrugarh. Okay, it looks like these Chinese are coming across the border. They are still at Mach 1.6, not slowing at all. I am going to just... not going to manually set anybody attack. We'll just let the missions you guys set run. Savage Flight is probably going to be the first ones there. Got Hot Pants and DSM. Stool Pigeon, Sonic Assassin. All right, they went hostile. All right, they're coming in. Okay, DSM and Hot Pants have vectored over. Stool Pigeon. Okay. We're going to do a little manual magic here. I believe I know what happened. Because they're out of bombs, they're set to return to base, and they still might. I don't know if I can override that at the moment, so we'll have to look into those orders next time. They still have irises, but because they don't have... they have plenty of fuel, but because they don't have any of the bombs, they must be returning. But we have Hot Pants and DSM are both 920 knots matched up with the finbacks, and they are vectoring in. So while the distance closes, we're going to take it up a little more time compression, see how this looks. All right, we'll slow it back down. Let's see, between DSM and hot pants, we have 4 Iris T's remaining. Should be more than enough to take out these 2 fin backs. They don't have anywhere near the range. And if all else, if they stray anywhere near here, they're going to eat some SAMs, but I don't see that happening. All right, we should have missiles away. They are closing rapidly. Yeah, first fin back. Let's see, who is going to be the first to fire? Looks like DSM's in the lead. 2 Irises remaining. Missiles away. What do we have? We got 1. We have 2 Irises. I don't believe the Chinese have seen them yet. They are still approaching head on. 920 knots. Oh, there they go. They are diving. They are killing, dropping speed, 32,000 feet, 31,000 feet. They are turning. Let's see how these Irises do. Going in. All right, we got 1 fin back down. And 2. Both fin backs lost. All right. Just a good shooting to DSM and Hot Pants. Stool Pigeon and Sonic Assassin are both making their way to base. We have the last Globemaster is on approach. This is the Doctors Without Borders. They'll be on the ground in a minute. Indian Air Force didn't do a whole lot. I don't think they would really get involved unless the Indian Air Force assets were attacked. But, all right, we'll take it up and see what happens. These missions are done. All right, Globemaster is on the ground. We have both of our flights making their way back. Landing one at a time. Next one, next one. Saab is also off mission, coming down. And all units are on the ground. All right, guys. It's a hell of a job. Hopefully this all worked out for all the mission plan, but I think it looks good. Be sure to let me know what everybody thinks, and stay tuned for some updates from our man in Washington, an after-action report, and, of course, to see how much money we made. All right, guys. Hired Goons HQ is out.